Hello, dear students. See, 10th standard English. We took already these two lessons. Let me revise it and then I'll go to the unit number 3. That is the flying stories. Okay, we have seen the lesson Nelson Mandela. Now, in this lesson, it's a long walk to freedom. In 1995, South Africa wins freedom. After that, in that free ceremony of winning the celebration of freedom, in that it is a story about Nelson Mandela and his life in a short. And the main points were he was the first non-racial president, and then this was the first non-racial government, as the black fellow was chosen as the president. He was the president of South Africa, first black president. Before that, the country was ruled by Britishers. Mandela's speech became very famous in the history, as it was a country in the year 1995 when many other countries were free. They won freedom, and it was very late to win the freedom for South Africa. And till that, 140 countries attended the celebration of freedom of South Africa. Mandela's speech became very famous, in which he utterly discussed about the his sense of history that is seen in his speech, and he talked about the vision of South Africa in the future that made him famous. The impressive display of jets is shown in this story, that as soon as Mandela's speech was over, there were jets flying above the heads of the people, and it was very impressive that time. The sense of the history in his speech, in his talk with the people, he shared some points about South Africa, and it has been seen that he was very sensible to know the history of the country as well as the world. Twin responsibility. Now this is the point. Let us again revise it, that I have not taken it prominently in my first video. See what happens when these South Africans were fighting for freedom. Well, at that time they had responsibility. Every person has responsibility to his family, to his country. These are the two responsibilities. The one, it is generally believed, the one who goes for the nation forgets the first one, and the one who goes in the first one, responsibility towards the family, cannot do much more about the country, towards the country. So he was a person who has taken both the responsibilities and handled it very well. But in the end, when he was fighting for freedom for South Africa, he was deprived from his family, lived away from his family. He has to live with people, comrades, Congress, National Congress, and other freedom fighters, and he was taken away from his family in this freedom. So that was the thing, that he took twin responsibilities. And National Congress, his joining of National Congress, that we have already discussed, that he saw the people, those who were fighting for freedom, even the comrades and nationals, they came together for the freedom. But for his vision, to complete the vision and his dreams, what his thinking was for South Africa, for his nation and his nation's achievement, he found that National Congress will be helpful for that, so he joined it. Okay, that was the lesson, Nelson Mandela, long walk to freedom. Then we saw a poem, A Tiger in the Zoo. I think I have sent both the videos to you. If not, please let me know. See that there's a poem about tiger, and the poet visits the zoo, and he saws Nooris, the poet Nourish visit to the zoo and saw a tiger in the zoo and started imagination of a tiger in the forest and a tiger in the cage. Now, one by one, the stanzas are placed to show that how a tiger which is walking quietly in all its rage in that cage, and a tiger who has to be in natural habitat in the forest, terrorizing the village people and other animals in the forest. Now this tiger is there in the cage and not terrorizing anybody, but becomes the attraction of the people, and people are going towards the cage and looking at him. So without fear, because only the tiger is in the zoo, and the tiger has only 25 feet to walk to and fro, while in the forest he is free to go anywhere. It is his area. Now the area of the tiger is limited up to 25 by some feet, and that makes the poet to bring one another point, that in the end of the poem the poet says that the tiger in the forest, while looking at the sky, night sky, and the tiger in the cage looking at the night sky. Being in the cage is like staying awake. Being in the cage is like staying awake and looking at the sky. And being in the forest is like enjoying the stars. So that major difference has been explained in the last stanza to show that the poet wants to show the freedom. The emphasis is on freedom, whether it is a tiger, whether it is a human being. So that was the poem. Now we are going to learn the unit number 3. There are two stories. One is the first flight and the another one is the black aeroplane. I'll tell you the stories in short. You read it well and notify me the points that you did not understand. Go through it, read the lesson. See, what is the first part? That first part is his first flight. In this, both the stories are about flying. In this first part, his first flight, Flaherty, Liam of Flaherty has written an imaginary story. It is an imaginary story about a young seagull. See, this young seagull is living with his parents on the seashore, somewhere in the cliffs, in the stones, and he has got 2 brothers and 1 sister. And now it is a time, they are grown up well, and now it is a time to start learning flying. How the flying is learned in seagulls, that they come running on the cliff, on the edge. The particular word is ledge is used, which is a narrow flat surface in the stones. Okay, that is called as ledge. Instead that they come on running up to the edge and take a jump in the ocean, in the sea, and while jumping they try to move their wings. In this way they learn flying. Now the 2 brothers and 1 little sister, younger sister than him, already learned flying. Now when it was the turn of this seagull, the time it starts running towards the edge, it runs and runs, and as soon as he has the look of the ocean and jumping in the ocean, that idea threatens him with the fear. He somehow stops himself, runs back towards the hole and refuses to fly. Now the parents try to make him agree to fly and jump, because that is the only way to learn flying. After many tries, when he refuses, the parents even threaten him, And in the end, they tell him that if he won't learn flying, he will have to die due to starvation. He'll not get any food to eat. What to do? But still he refuses. Because at the time, the fear is a big factor for him and nothing else. So the parents also went off flying. And the brothers and his sister also goes off. After some time, watching other seagulls and his family, he saw that his mother is holding a fish in her mouth. And now he realizes that he is even hungry. Slowly the hunger goes on, being strong. And from there he calls for his mother to bring a fish for him in his nest in the hole. Now somehow the mother has to show that she is even trying. She makes a leap towards the hole and try to fly and make a scene of flying. She just moves her wings so fast and becomes still on one place instead of flying further with the fish in her mouth. Now this seagull does not understand why the mother is not reaching towards him. She is flying so hard. She's trying so hard to reach. The hunger makes him more and more eager to get that fish. In that eagerness, he takes some steps towards the ledge, starts running and jumps in the direction of his mother. As soon as he jumps, he starts falling towards the ocean. In his fall, he somehow tried to do some actions. He opens his wings, and opening the wings gives him a flat falling, and that he understood that now it's a time to move the wings. As soon as he starts moving his wings, he starts flying, and now he forgets his hunger, and that joy of flying, learning flying, he goes up and down and here and there, higher and higher, shows that he is flying. When he is flying too much, at the same time, his family settled down on the ocean water. All the seagulls, his parents, sister and two brothers, they are on the ocean. Now the ocean water, which looks green or sometimes blue also. So this seagull feels that they are landed. So this seagull also comes to land over it. As soon as it tries to land on the ocean water, his legs goes down in the water, and he feels the feeling of sinking down in the water. But the stomach, the belly, as soon as landed on the water, it automatically starts floating on the water, and that fear even goes out of his heart. And that is how the seagull learns flying also and floating also on the water, and then he gets a piece of fish from his mother. Now second part is about an aeroplane, black aeroplane. This one is a mysterious story. I'll tell you the summary of this also. This one is a mysterious story. What happens in this story? There's the writer of the story, Frederick, is a pilot. Who is flying an airplane. Most of the planes now are aeroplanes, automatically flying. But in the past, there were planes, they were flying with the air pressure. They were using air pressure also to fly. Now, the air pressure is not required to fly. So, let us call it airplane. So, he was flying a Dakota plane DS-088. And he was flying from France to England. That 150 kilometers or more than that, the run was there, and he was about to reach to Paris, it was 150 kilometers when he get connected with the radar of Paris, the radio station, through the radar, and had contact with the radio station of Paris. When he is flying, he notices a city, that is Paris, lighted up. It was 1:30 in the night. So all the lights he could see from a long distance, from 150 kilometers high above the sky, high in the sky above the city, and he notices that he is about to he comes to know through the radar by connecting the radio station that he is about to reach to Paris. Meanwhile, when the Paris radar center directed him about the direction to reach and land, now see, he is to land in Paris to get fuel, as he was running in short of fuel. As soon as he gets the direction and starts toward those direction, he finds a big black cloud, and this cloud is like mountains, very big. And when he is progressing, going towards the clouds, many things come to his mind, and several things comes to his mind. One of them is he is short of fuel. He cannot avoid these black clouds. He cannot high above the clouds because that is not in the limit of the airplane. Second thing, the availability of the fuel cannot make him possible to go around the cloud and then to fly. Third thing comes to his mind, that is he has to take the risk due to the shortage of the fuel and due to the limited access to the altitude of flying of the airplane. He decides to enter. As soon as he enters in the black clouds, everything becomes black. He could see nothing. No directions, no scenes, no lights, no cities, nothing. It is already night time, 1:30 at night. So now, as soon as he enters the clouds, the second problem he faces, that the connection to the radio station of the Paris is lost. Now he is not connected to it. And the third thing that he finds, that the radar which is directing is ceased working, stopped working. Now he is not aware of the directions even. So where he is going, what direction he is going, in the clouds, out of the clouds, how he can go, how he can come out of it, and where he will reach, he is totally unaware of these facts. In meanwhile of these problems, surrounded by these problems and being in the problems, he notices that there is some black plane in the black clouds. The shape of the plane, or the shape, makes him understand that yes, it's a plane, and the color of the plane is black, and he is even able to see the pilot of the plane who is waving at him. And from this waving, he tells the pilot, the writer, to follow him. Now, believing that plane, because both the planes are in the clouds, the same plane will even try to go out of the clouds. So that is the first thing comes to his mind. So that is the reason to believe, and he tries to follow the plane. The plane goes deep in the clouds and then goes down. As soon as he goes on following the plane, goes on, and as soon as the plane goes down, he even takes a dip. Now see, when two planes are driving, now this is a plane. This plane is taking a dip and this plane is taking the dip. As soon as he takes the dip, goes down, he lost the sight of the black plane. When he lost the sight of the black plane, goes down and down, suddenly he comes out of the cloud and sees that the landing lights of the runway of Paris airport. Now, finally, Hush, alas, is out of the problems, and only within 2 or 3 minutes he is about to land the Paris airport. As soon as he lands safely, he comes to the radio station, tells about the problems, that how he lost the contact of the radar station of Paris, and how he was directed by a black plane, and then he inquires, where is that black plane pilot who made me safely land over here, thinking that if I have landed here, that means the black plane already have landed there. He asks the question, I want to meet that pilot. The lady over there on the radar station tells the pilot that there is no plane at all flying in such conditions, and the radar, the radio station, has not detected any other plane. His plane was the only plane flying in this situation. There is no answer to his question. It is a mysterious question. It becomes mysterious situation. What was that black plane? Who was that pilot? He has actually seen and came out of the problem. That black plane and the pilot who helped him is nowhere on the radar of Paris, but he has noticed it. So this is the story of the black plane. These are the two parts about the flying story. Okay, students, I'll send you the notes of these two lessons now, and I'll send you the notes and summary. I have sent already, but still once again I'll repeat, and I'll send the notes of all the two units, the lesson Nelson Mandela, Tiger in the Zoo, the poem, and these two flying stories. Read it at home and send me what are your problems. Later I will send you the solutions. Thank you.